This video demo will show you how to use a single property page websites within Resio. Resio automatically creates single property page websites for all listing transactions that you have, which can then be used to market your listings via social media, Google, and so forth. Resio does not create single property page websites for buying side transactions that you create. You also have the ability to turn off the single property page websites if you so choose, which I'll show you in a little bit. To access a single property page website, go into your transaction dashboard for any listing transaction that you have. Then scroll over here to the right-hand side and click the single property website button. This will open up a unique URL that's tied specifically to this transaction that is a marketing page that again you can use to market your listings. Notice how this URL is unique again to this property and is a public URL. In contrast to the transaction dashboard, which this transaction dashboard is of course 100% secure and private only to you and the people that you invite in, and is protected by banking level security. So no one else can access the transaction dashboard, again, except for you or the people that you invite into your brokerage or transactions. However, the single property page website, because it's a public URL, this page can be accessed as long as it's live to literally anybody in the world. Resio also indexes these pages on Google for SEO purposes so that people, when they search for homes in the area that the property is listed in, can find the single property page website show up. On the single property page website, you'll notice that all the details of the transaction and the property are here. All the photos are here in the photo section. The details on the address, the listing price, property type, etc. are here. If you scroll down, the description and all the property details are here as well, along with a map of the listing. Also, all of your information is shown over here on the right-hand side. So we never put any other agents or buyer's agents ads over here for your listings. It's always just your own. So your name, your contact info, your NERDS ID, your license number, your picture, etc. And again, because we're indexing these pages on Google, your information will appear in more search results on Google. Also, when you share these listings via social media, your information will show up there as well when people come to the single property page website. So we're automatically indexing these pages on Google for you, so you don't need to do anything for that. However, if you would like to share these single property page websites to social media like Twitter and Facebook, etc., that you will need to do on your own. So to share these single property page websites to your Facebook and Twitter and other social media outlets, you come down here to the social media bar that we have right here. And for example, if I want to share this page to my Facebook, I simply click on the Facebook icon, and it's going to bring up the share this window. You can see the picture of the property right here, the address, and the description and so forth. And you can type in anything that you want to up here, and then click share link, and then this listing will be shared to your Facebook page. So it's very simple, one click, and then you just type in something and share it to your Facebook page. You can also share it to other pages that you have as well, or on your own timeline. If you want to share it to Twitter, same thing. You just click the Twitter button here, and it will bring up your Twitter account, and then you can share the listing on Twitter. Same thing for LinkedIn, Tumblr, etc. And if you click this plus button here, we have a host of all the social media outlets that you could possibly want in here. So like Pinterest and Blogger, etc. Okay. You can also email the link to the listing of the single property page website if you want. You could also print it out, which is handy if you want to print it out as like a flyer and share it at an open house that you might have. So again, Resio indexes these pages on Google for you automatically. You can share these via social media. And you can also use the single property page websites to receive, accept, and decline offers through Resio. Now that's a different training video that we have, so we definitely recommend the video and watching the video for how to receive, accept, and decline offers through Resio. This video just focuses on the single property page website itself. But that's what this big make offer button is for. You could share this listing with buyers, agents, and buyers and have them come to this page and make offers. Now let's say you want to turn off the single property page website for some reason. Let's say it's a pocket listing or a pre-listing or something like that, and you don't want the single property page website to be out there for people to find it. If you come back here into the transaction dashboard and click on the little cog wheel up here over on the upper right corner, it's the transaction settings button, and it will open up a little window here where you can see that it says yes, that the single property page website is being displayed. If you click no and close that down, and then I come back to the single property page website and I click refresh, you'll see that this page is no longer available, that the page does not exist, okay? So again, that's a way to turn off the single property page website for each transaction. Now, let's say you want to turn off the single property page website for all of your listing transactions. Like you don't ever want to generate a single property page website for your listing transactions, and you don't want to have to come in here to each transaction and click the cogwheel to change it. You can actually set no as the default for creating single property page websites for all your transactions. If you come up here to the navigation bar or navigation tray and click on the marketing page and you check no on the marketing preferences, then we will never generate a single property page website for your listing transactions. So that's a way to turn the single property page websites off by default. You could then turn on an individual single property website, again, by going into that transaction and turning it on. So for example, even though I set the default to no, I could then come back in here and turn it back on, and then the single property website will be turned back on. So if I come back here to the single property website and click refresh, the page will be turned back on. Also, one other quick FYI, that Resio does update your your single property page website details in real time with all of the changes that you make to a transaction back here in the transaction dashboard. So for example, if I change the status from active to active contingent and then click submit, I'll close that down. If I come back here to the single property website, the status automatically changes to active contingent, and we updated to say that it was updated less than a minute ago. So again, we're updating these single property page websites in real time so that you can feel confident that the data on here is as fresh as possible. And that's how you use the single property page websites within Resio.